Welcome back to Chris Sims Unbuttoned, presented by Lowe's. Lowe's knows home improvement, and it is time to go into the printing press. Ladies and gentlemen, give me the headlines presented by Hyundai. This is where we give you tomorrow's headlines today, but you are watching it tomorrow, so it is today for you, if that makes any sense for you.
Well said, well said.
Colts and Steelers, 3-point game.
Yes.
Steelers go down for the first time this season. Your headline for this one is?
Well, I use this on Football Night in America. I'm cheating a little bit, but Joltin' Joe, Joltin' Joe Flacco, Jersey Joe Flacco.
It is amazing.
He really is.
We talk about how the game has changed.
Yes.
Right? You cannot win anymore with a statue.
Right.
And then animatronic Joe Flacco comes in and goes to the playoffs last year and now delivers the Colts a victory.
Yeah. Well, you know, what happens is when you do have some other elite traits, right, you can overcome some of those non-elite things that you're talking about.
Yeah.
He played a lot of football, so he's a lot of experience there. Still has a gifted arm. I mean, he is still a bullseye thrower. There's no doubt about that. Great game. I mean, I feel bad for Anthony Richardson, right? It was a day in a game where you went, hey, he looks pretty good here early. Kind of looks like he had control of the football, was seeing the field well. Okay, but of course he goes down with a hip injury, takes a shot from Minkah Fitzpatrick, I believe, right on that right hip. He came back like a play later, ran and went down on his own accord, basically like because something didn't feel right. But then Joe comes in, boom, touchdown. I think the first thing that pops to me in this game is Joe, of course, was really good, right? Shane Steichen has something on the Steelers defense. He's got them. I don't know what it is that he's got them in, but, I mean, they played him in December. They played in 2 games out of the last 8 games. He's got 700 yards of offense and 300 yards rushing against the Steelers. The Steelers that looked like the best defense in football coming into this game today. I mean, you thought, man, they number 1? So he obviously has something with how he can tie the run game together and his play action pass that he feels like he's got a good feel for what Mike Tomlin and company do on that side of the ball. So that was big. And the fact that they have Joe Flacco as a backup quarterback is incredible, and that's why a backup quarterback's got great value for a team that's good or feels like they're a playoff caliber football team. Now they don't fall apart. Now we sit here and go, yeah, the Colts don't have Anthony Richardson, but they got Joe Flacco, and they're still in this thing, right? And in fact, yeah, he can't run like Anthony Richardson, but he can throw it better. He's going to be a better decision-making. So there'll be stuff there that he can take advantage of that Anthony Richardson couldn't. So that aspect is cool, and they continue to be one of the best running teams in football. Their O-line, they can run the ball, and Jonathan Taylor's a beast, and that has also kind of surprised me today that they were able to run the ball the way they did on Pittsburgh.
They were committed to it.
They
21
are
carries
committed.
for Jonathan Taylor. Flacco said post-game, he goes, Anthony Richardson's mom is 8 days older than I am, so there's no chance in the world he thinks I'm cool. I wouldn't say that. There's at least a chance. B. Banos 12 says, damn okay to Shane Steichen putting a game plan together on the fly after AR's injury and hanging 27 on the almighty Steelers defense. And so a shout out there from B. Banos 12. I saw you put up your finger. You have another point you want to make on the Colts or the Steelers.
The Steelers.
Yeah, boy, here we go.
Well, the Steelers, they waited too long to open it up today. That was the problem to me. Justin Fields is ready. We saw again another good throwing performance. George Pickens reaching out for a first down in the first half when they were driving and could have probably made it 17-7.
Inside the 5.
Inside the 5. That was a huge moment in the game because you kind of felt like Pittsburgh settled in a little bit, and now their offense is moving the ball. But I think they need to trust him a little bit more. Old Justin Fields is gone. I haven't seen old Justin Fields in a while. He hits the open target. He doesn't throw the ball into triple coverage. He's doing the right thing. So he continues to progress, and I think they're going to have to open up the vault with him a little bit. I'm not giving up on the Steelers. I think there's still a lot of good there, but, I guess my worry about them is a little bit like I've said about other teams. I wish it was just a little easier on offense. And does every drive have to be long and tough? Yeah. And, he made a good scramble and a few good throws and we ran it between the tackles good. Can they ever be easy? Can they ever be 2 or 3 play drives? That's the thing that's going to worry me going forward. But either way, Justin Fields looks good. Big win for the Colts. I expect Joe Flacco to be the starter here for the recent future at least.
And Death on Twitter says that Justin Fields, I'm a Lions fan. He clearly wasn't the problem in Chicago, put the Steelers on his back today. He did. 312 yards passing, and then he led the team in rushing with 55 yards on 10 carries.
That's what
for
they
him.
don't want. They don't want him leading the team in rushing. And
Yeah.
that's where it went. Today, they couldn't run the ball, and they kept going, no, we're going to run it this series. No, we're going to run it this series. And then it was like, no, you're down 17-0 now. Stop. And I know the Colts have had bad run defense, but the Colts, I think, today went, oh, it's the Steelers. They're not going to throw early on. We'll over-aggressive or overplay the run. And they did that, and it came back to bite the Steelers in the butt.
Broncos, they
Whoa.
get another win. They do it again. This one was pretty ugly. It was an ugly game in New Jersey,
Yes.
raining, wet,
Yeah,
slippery.
good old Jersey fall weather
10-9
right there.
over the Jets. Your headline for this one is?
Rodgers gets nixed.
He did.
He got nixed. He got nicked up. I mean, he did it. This was, probably the ugliest game of the day.
Yes.
Another game, though, that I would go, I think the Jets were probably the better team on the football field.
Well, it's a game that they should be built to win.
Exactly right. The funny thing is, and a few people said this back in our viewing room, they were like, these are the games we used to win with Zach Wilson. Like, we'd win at 12-10 or something, even though it was like, ugh, he was ugly and he didn't throw the ball well, but we used to win that. There was a heartbreaking loss for Jets fans because, it was symphony last week when they played the Patriots. All you heard in New York was, oh, my gosh, Aaron Rodgers never misses a read. It's like he's knows it before it happens. Oh, my gosh. That's all it was all week. So I did have a little fun watching some of my Jet fans in the viewing room today squirm and like, what the hell's going on? We can't get first downs again today. What the hell is it?
Just needed a dry ball.
It was
Wait
an
till next
ugly
week.
game. It started out ugly. Garrett Wilson fumbled, starts there, but the D held it together early with the Broncos got a short field off the Garrett Wilson fumble, and the field position game, I'm telling you, early in the game, all they did was have the ball at the 50-yard line. And the Jets were like, nope, 3 and out, punt it back to us, right? But the Jets couldn't really ever get anything going throughout the day.
Yeah.
The Jets couldn't run the ball, and this is where my other thing is going to come on. Theme of Chris Sims and what you've heard about Aaron Rodgers. They got to throw the freaking ball down the field a little bit. Jason Garrett said it in Football Night America. Nobody is scared of them to throw it. Everybody knows he wants to throw it short and intermediate. That's what he wants to do. And Garrett Wilson's the only guy that really scares you down the field. And I think that plays into the hands like a guy like Vance Joseph and Sean Payton. They were like, screw it, call their bluff. Let's get close to the line of scrimmage. Let's crowd the middle of the field a little bit.
Which makes the run game
Exactly.
hard.
And let's not let this guy have time to throw, and let's blitz the old man a little bit.
Yeah.
And they blitzed him, and they hit the shit out of him today. I mean, he's going to be as sore as he's been in a long time.
He was limping off the field at the end of the
He
game.
took a lot of big hits. I believe he was hit 10 times throughout the day. And I'm telling you, they were car crash type hits.
Denver outrushed the Jets 126-64, so
was
just about twice as much, and that was the difference in the ball game.
It was.
Wasn't pretty for the Broncos
Right.
either. I think at one point, Knicks had like 7 completions for -7 yards.
He was 7 for 15 for -7.
How is that possible?
Because they couldn't do anything. All they could do was throw screens behind the line of scrimmage and short balls in the flat. The wet ball definitely affected Knicks.
Yeah.
You could see him literally at times like trying to adjust it in his hand to find a dry spot, and then he was like shot putting it at times. But I think your point there and what you said about the run game, that was big. The Jets went up 10, what was it? They went up 9-7 and let Williams and company just run it right down their throat to get into field goal range to kick the field goal to go ahead. That was big. Their other drive of the game, it was a big pass interference when they threw the ball deep down the field to Cortland Sutton, and then he hit Cortland Sutton for the touchdown in the back of the end zone. But really, that was about, there wasn't much more to talk about. It was an ugly, tough, physical win, and I got to give a lot of credit to the Broncos defense for making Rodgers that uncomfortable. You don't see that often.
After the game, Rodgers said, quote, "I can't say I had a spectacular game. The weather sucked, but so did some of my throws." And
Yeah.
Vito Rizzuto says, "Who doesn't get a damn okay? The Jets' offensive line and coaching staff. Horrendous, to say the least." So enough blame to go around to multiple areas for the Jets.
I would say so. These are games where you've heard me say this in the past. I wish the Jets were a little more exotic on defense, right? These are the games where this offense and the talent of your defense, the Seattle scheme hurts them, in my opinion, right? It's just because there's not enough trickeration. There's not enough like, oh, I don't know where the blitz is coming. Wait, I don't know what coverage this is, right? And I talked about this a little last year with like them and the Cleveland Browns. I'd go, man, I don't know. The Jets might have more talent than the Cleveland Browns, but Jim Schwartz has all these crazy defense. It creates a schematical advantage for them to where they get turnovers and pick sixes and strip sack fumbles and do that. The Jets, for as talented as they are, they don't make enough plays on their defense. I think that's the big thing. And I wish they would draw up a few more creative ideas, and then I do think they need to throw the ball down the field. If you watch Aaron Rodgers, the only time he throws the ball down the field right now is a one-on-one back shoulder along the sideline.
Offsides.
Or that, right. But that's the only time he takes it. And they got to find more ways to throw it 20 yards down the middle of the field, 30 yards down the middle of the field. And those are things he's been reluctant to do the last few years. We'll see if he can get better at it.
All right, that was Give Me the Headlines presented by Hyundai.
Yo, homies, thanks for watching. Yeah, it's time. The NFL season is here on Chris Sims Unbuttoned.
You can hit subscribe to get all the weekly picks, plus our Sunday recaps as the games are happening.
Oh, you know it. Nobody does that better than us. Thanks again for watching. Remember to subscribe. Peace out. We'll see you next time on Unbuttoned.